Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. This is your Burnley versus Manchester United preview. It's at Turf Moor, it's Tuesday night the 8th of February and it's an 8 o'clock kick-off. The last time Manchester United lost at Turf Moor was back in 2009. It was 1-0 to Burnley. The goal came from Robbie Blake. Burnley recently drew 0-0 with Watford. Burnley's manager is Sean Dyche. He's been a very long-serving manager at Burnley. He's been Burnley's manager for a decade. Burnley appointed Sean Dyche in back in 2012. He's got a contract with Burnley until 2025. Before Burnley, he managed Watford. Sean Dyche is under pressure as Burnley are bottom of the league. Now I do know quite a lot of players that Burnley have got. They've got Wout Weghorst. Burnley signed him back in January. They got him from Wolfsburg. Burnley paid £12 million for Weghorst. He signed a 3.5-year contract. They also have Maxwell Cornet. He's just come back from injury. They also have Vydra. Vydra is out at the moment with hernia. I think he's out for a few weeks. They've got Jay Rodriguez. They also have Ashley Barnes, who's good. He had an injury earlier on this season. They've got Ashley Westwood. They've got Aaron Lennon. Aaron Lennon is a former Everton, Tottenham and Leeds player. They've got Goodmanson. He's a good midfielder. He's out with injury at the moment. They've got Josh Brownhill. He didn't play against Watford recently for Burnley because he was suspended. They've got Jack Cork. They've got Connor Roberts, Bobby Thomas. They have Eric Peters, Phil Bardsley, Charlie Taylor. Charlie Taylor is out with injury at the moment. They have James Tarkowski. He's a decent centre-half. They've got Matthew Lawton, Ben Mee. So there you go. And the goalkeepers Burnley have got. They've got Wayne Hennessy, who they got from Crystal Palace. They have Will Norris and Nick Pope. Let me put into the equation, Burnley lost Chris Wood. Chris Wood went to Newcastle from Burnley. Manchester United are coming into this game having been knocked out of the FA Cup 4th round by Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough won 8-7 on penalties. Anthony Elanga missed the decisive penalty. And reflecting on that, like I updated you, Anthony Elanga was racially abused on social media. It was 1-1 after extra time. Jadon Sancho scored against Middlesbrough. That was his first Old Trafford goal, and he scored on his FA Cup debut. To Sancho's credit, he had a very good game. Middlesbrough's equaliser was controversial. It was Matt Crooks that scored the equaliser for Middlesbrough, but in the build-up to the goal, Duncan Watmore had handballed it. So I reckon that goal should have been disallowed. In the game as well, Ronaldo missed a penalty in normal time. Ronaldo had quite a lot of chances, but unfortunately didn't convert them. Marcus Rashford, he had chances and he had a goal disallowed for offside. Fernandes, he hit the post as well in the game and he had a lot of other chances. Fernandes did get the assist for the Jadon Sancho goal. And Sancho, he hit the crossbar in the first 90 seconds of the game. We had a total of 30 shots. So we've got to bounce back against Burnley on Tuesday. Manchester United have won the last 2 league games. Before the international break, Manchester United beat West Ham 1-0. Thanks to a late goal from Marcus Rashford, and obviously Man United beat Brentford 3-1. Manchester United won this fixture at Turf Moor last season 1-0. Manchester United beat Burnley 3-1 at Old Trafford in the final game of last year. Manchester United's next game after Burnley is Southampton. Manchester United have got some players missing. Fernandes, he's picked up a knock. Bailly, he recently picked up an injury. Bailly doesn't really get in the team anyway. Cavani, he's injured. Alex Telles didn't play against Middlesbrough. Wait there a second. Through injury. Sancho, I think he's picked up a minor injury. Lindelof, obviously, he's been out due to personal reasons. And that's about it. And obviously, you know the news on Mason Greenwood. Recently, Manchester United fans set their Mason Greenwood shirts on fire. Mason Greenwood is banned from England and Manchester United. He won't be able to train or play any matches. Last Wednesday, Greenwood was released on bail after his arrest. Mason Greenwood has been arrested twice for sexual assault, making threats to kill, rape and assault. And Greenwood was removed from FIFA 22, and rightly so. It's disgraceful what Greenwood has done, and his career at Manchester United is officially over, and his England career is also officially over. He's only the age of 20. Greenwood joined Manchester United's academy at the age of 6. He made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019, and since then he's made 129 appearances, and he's scored over 30 goals. Last season he signed a new 4-year contract. As for Ralf Rangnick, he's under pressure. He's been Manchester United's interim manager for 2 months. He's Man United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then it did say Rangnick is expected to take up a consultancy role for a further 2 years. A few weeks ago, though, it actually said that Manchester United had put their search for a new manager on hold after being impressed by Ralf Rangnick since he took charge in December, and it said Man United were considering offering Rangnick the job on a permanent basis. Rangnick has managed 11 games so far in all competitions. He's lost 2 games so far. There's been good performances under Rangnick. There's also been poor performances as well. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Credit to Rangnick though, he has made changes since he's come in, because earlier on this season he recommended Ewan Sharpin as an assistant coach and analyst. He also brought Chris Armas in as an assistant coach, and he brought Saz Chalens in as a sports psychologist. There's a very good chance that Manchester United will appoint Mauricio Pochettino as the next permanent manager. Pochettino is Manchester United's #1 choice to become the club's next permanent manager. Pochettino has reportedly told his friends he will be leaving PSG in the summer. Reports from France said not so long ago that Pochettino could be sacked by March. Pochettino's job hinges on PSG getting to the next round of the Champions League. PSG play Real Madrid in the last 16 of the Champions League. Not so long ago, PSG got knocked out of the French Cup by Nice, and that put more pressure on Pochettino. PSG are trying to get Zidane to replace Pochettino. Pochettino's been PSG's manager for over a year. I think he's won a French Cup with them. His contract at PSG expires next year. Pochettino, though, I reckon if he became Man United's next permanent manager, he'd do a good job, because I think Pochettino would suit the strappings of the club, and he would get the best out of these group of players. Plus, he's proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial, because before, Pochettino endured a 5.5-year managerial tenure at Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure at Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. Revert back to 2018 though, Pochettino got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. And at one point, he almost won the league when he was Tottenham manager. Before Tottenham, Pochettino managed Southampton. He only endured a short managerial tenure at Southampton, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far, and before Southampton he managed Espanyol. Revert back to when Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho. Manchester United should have got Pochettino, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. Erik ten Hag, he's been relentlessly linked with the managerial role at Man United. Earlier on this season, Rangnick actually said that he wanted Erik ten Hag to become the club's new manager in the summer. And it said not so long ago that Man United fans want Erik ten Hag to take the Old Trafford job instead of Mauricio Pochettino. I think if Erik ten Hag came to managing the Premier League, he'd replicate what he's done at Ajax. You've got to admire the work he's done at Ajax. He's developed the young players well. He's won a couple of titles with Ajax. And revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. Still a young coach. His contract at Ajax expires next year. He's been Ajax manager for over 4 years. Ajax appointed him in back in 2017. Ajax is the fourth club he's managing in his managerial career. Before Ajax, he managed Utrecht. Before then, he managed Bayern Munich's reserves. And before then, he managed Go Ahead Eagles. Manchester United are looking for the 5th permanent manager since Ferguson retired. 4 permanent managers have been sacked since Ferguson retired. We sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Then Man United sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite his winning the FA Cup under him. Then Man United sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he won 3 trophies in his first season. The 3 trophies he won was the Europa League, the EFL Cup and the Community Shield. The reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board and he had bad disputes with the top players. And last year, Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after almost 3 years in charge. As you all know, when Solskjaer officially got sacked, he gave a farewell interview and he got emotional in that farewell interview, which of course was understandable because Solskjaer, was part of the club for a long time and he adores the club. Solskjaer's final game in charge of Manchester United was the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Manchester United endured a disappointing January transfer window. Last month Manchester United did not make any signings. Man United wanted to sign a midfielder because when Rangnick first came in, he identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness. Lingard and Dean Henderson should have left in January, but Manchester United blocked their exits. We had the incident with Mason Greenwood towards the end of last month. We did loan quite a few players out though last month. We loaned Donny van de Beek out to Everton. We loaned Amad Diallo out to Rangers. We loaned Anthony Martial out to Sevilla. We loaned Ethan Laird out to Anzebe, went out on loan to Napoli. We also loaned someone else out as well. Teden Menga, that's it, we loaned him out to Birmingham. So Man United let around 8 players leave last month. So Rangnick has endured one transfer window as Manchester United's interim manager. The good news is from Man United perspective that Woodward stepped down not so long ago. Woodward had to go because Woodward was one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Ed Woodward was at Manchester United for 17 years. Richard Arnold replaced Ed Woodward as the new chief executive. And the Glazers, they've owned Manchester United for around 16 and a half years. And they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. The Glazers bought Manchester United for 500 million back in 2005. Revert back to April last year, Man United fans protested against the Glazers at the Carrington training ground and at Old Trafford because the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League. But in the end, the Glazers apologised. Well, that's what Solskjaer mentioned at the time. Manchester United have not been the same team since Alex Ferguson retired. No one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club, so in that aspect we've got to accept it. Ferguson, brought success to Manchester United. He won 30-odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles, but Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. And Alex Ferguson was at Manchester United for 26 years, so reflecting on that, he was a very long-serving manager. The only mistake Ferguson made was recommending David Moyes in when he retired. But the reasons he did that is because they're both Scottish and Alex Ferguson had a lot of time for Moyes. Since Ferguson retired, Manchester United must have spent around 1.2 billion, and we've brought over 40 players in since Ferguson retired. None of this squad is Rangnick's. He's inheriting players who other managers have brought in. The only chance Manchester United have of winning the trophy this season is the Champions League. I'm very sceptical we'll win the Champions League, so it's going to be another trophyless season for Man United. Manchester United have not won a trophy since 2017. That's 5 years ago now. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. We've not won the Premier League since 2013. Hopefully we can finish in the top 4 this season. Obviously, Man United moved into the top 4 after beating West Ham before the international break. In the summer, I'm expecting Manchester United to make some signings. I'm also expecting a lot of players to depart the club in the summer. So in the summer, I reckon Henderson will leave. Henderson doesn't get in goal much, does he? Because revert back to last summer, David De Gea reclaim that number 1 spot back. Like I said earlier on in this video, Henderson should have left last month, but Man United blocked his exit. Henderson was in goal for the game against Middlesbrough recently. That was just his 3rd appearance of the season. Henderson didn't really have much to do against Middlesbrough. He made a couple of saves to deny Matt Crooks and Aaron Connolly from close range. Earlier on this season, Henderson was out with COVID for a while. Towards the end of last season, Henderson got that number 1 jersey. Henderson did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season, to be fair. He's got that experience behind him because before he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield. He's had other loan spells before with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. Henderson's under contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. He signed that new long-term contract before the start of last season. Phil Jones will also leave the club in the summer. I wanted him to leave last month, but he didn't. Don't forget, Romano said on deadline day that Phil Jones rejected a loan move to Bordeaux, but Man United and Bordeaux had reached an agreement for Phil Jones to go to Bordeaux in order to get more playing time. And reports from France said that Phil Jones' talks were at final stages, but Rangnick said he was happy for Jones to stay. Jones did come on in the game against Middlesbrough in the Cup recently. He played in the 1-0 defeat to Wolves at Old Trafford earlier on in the season. That was his first Premier League appearance since January 2020. This season's been Phil Jones' 11th season at Man United, so he has been a long-serving player. His contract at Man United expires next year. He'll also leave the club this year because Bailly doesn't get in the team much. Like I said earlier on in the video, picked up an injury not so long ago. He was at the African Cup of Nations not so long ago. The last game Bailly played for Man United was the 3-1 win against Burnley last year. But Bailly came off injured in that game. Last month, Damasio actually came out and said that Bailly agreed to join AC Milan on loan, and he did say that Bailly was extremely interested in a move to AC Milan. Manchester United got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016, paid £30 million for him, so Bailly's been at the club over 5 years now. Back in April last year, he signed a contract with Man United until 2024. Harry Maguire and Bissaka, Man United are looking to sell them in the summer. We need to sell them because they're not good enough to represent the club. Matic, he'll also leave in the summer. Matic is out of contract at Manchester United in the summer. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. And Matic is the only predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got at the moment. Matic has been at Manchester United for over 4 years. He came in 2017. Man United got him from Chelsea. We got him for 40 million. And if Rangnick doesn't get the job on a permanent basis, I reckon Paul Pogba will leave the club in the summer. Pogba's out of contract at Man United in the summer. But not so long ago, he said Paul Pogba is willing to stay at Man United as long as Ralph Rangnick is the manager for next season, because Pogba has been impressed by Ralph Rangnick since his arrival, and Pogba would be open to signing a new contract. Pogba did play against Middlesbrough. He put a good performance out, to be fair. Pogba did win the penalty. It was Pogba's first appearance in 3 months because Pogba was out with injury for a while. Jesse Lingard, he'll also leave the club as well in the summer. Like I said earlier on in the video, should have left in January. Newcastle and West Ham tried to get Lingard last month, didn't they, on loan. Mata, he'll also leave the club in the summer, and I reckon Edison Cavani will leave. And if Man United fails to qualify for the Champions League, Cristiano Ronaldo will also leave. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.